is the deal with Ultra? What is the deal with the Timp 2.0? Anybody who's gotten a hold of this shoe may be aware that the shoe does not really even fit. I do not have wide feet, like a lot of hikers have wide feet. And if you're not familiar with my YouTube channel, this is a backpacking YouTube channel, and it's basically, this is a backpacking YouTube channel for people who are curious about ultralight with backpacking gear and want to learn about it. Because, you know, this stuff costs money, and we don't always have a chance to get a hold of it. I did get this pair of Timp 2.0s for free, but I kind of regret it, and I don't remember seeing anybody on YouTube telling me not to get this shoe. And the shoe is so bad, I kind of am looking at this as like the death of Ultra. I mean, you know, before I go on, I just want you to know that I love the Olympus. This is my pair of blue Olympuses. I'm wearing them right now. They're awesome. They're fully functional. They're quick drying. They prescribe to the Maximus stack height concept that Ultra originally came out with when they first started. This is a Maximus stack height shoe in the truest form. And this is really where Ultra shines. It's got this awesome bumper on the back of the shoe that propels you forward. It does work. Obviously, the shoe is not the lightest shoe out there because it's a humongous shoe, but it's super, super stable and extremely plush, and I love it. Okay, so when I got a hold of the Timp, I thought immediately that the Timp would be an Olympus Mini. And it isn't. It's a completely different shoe. And not only is it a completely different shoe than the Maximus stack height concept shoes that Ultra is famous for, this shoe is not necessarily functional. It doesn't really fit. It's extremely tight and extremely shallow. The toe is kind of long, so your toes don't actually come anywhere near the front of the shoe, which means that if you were to size up, you would end up with a shoe that's way too long. And it doesn't look like the Timp 2.0 is going to stretch out because these rubber lines along the side of the shoe that are painted on there don't stretch, and so they don't allow the shoe to stretch. You've got a small window of ventilated material that can stretch right here, about the size of $50. But honestly, I just don't think that that's enough space for the shoe to stretch in order to wear the shoe in. Also, the shoe is kind of hard. Most of the Ultras have got a plush training day Maximus stack height midsole solution to them, where the Timp 2.0 has got a snappy, responsive, tough and hard, unforgiving midsole with a 6mm thick insole. So there's a, you know, the insole that goes in here is 6mm thick, and that causes the inside of the shoe to be super, super small. The chances of wearing in the shoe and gaining more real estate inside of the shoe doesn't look like it's possible because the midsole of the shoe is super, super tough and unforgiving, and it doesn't compress. It's not squishy. If you feel the side of the midsole here, it feels like it's squishy from the side, but when you press down inside of the shoe is really, really firm. And it doesn't look like the shoe is going to wear in. It doesn't look like it's going to stretch out and gain more room in the toe box, and it doesn't feel like it's going to wear in and create more space inside of the shoe. Of course, there's the option of pulling the insole out to create more space inside of the shoe, but who does that? I have never pulled the insole of my shoe out. Like, for instance, you know, these are my shoes. This is the Olympus that I love. And yeah, I could pull these out, but I wouldn't wear the shoe without the insole in it. The Timp 2.0 kind of suggests that that's the solution. Maybe you could just take the insole out. I'm not open-minded about that, and it doesn't look like I'll be able to send these back. But before I go into that, also, you know, the lugs on the bottom are a little bit soft. Anytime you're dealing with lugs for trail running, you want them to be made out of the toughest rubber possible so that they don't wear down. And these lugs, if I feel them with my finger, they're a little bit soft, which means that they are going to wear off. So you've got lugs on the bottom that are probably going to wear off the shoe. You've got a midsole that doesn't have the same Maximus stack height as what Ultra has usually used. This is a tough race day midsole that is not very forgiving, with very little real estate inside of the shoe. And even though the shoe is ventilated and quick drying, it does not stretch. So there's not a lot of opportunity to get this shoe to stretch out and gain more real estate inside. The other issue is that this area at the bottom of the laces presses into the top of your foot. So if you were to wear the Timp 2.0 and try to wear it in so that the shoe can work for you, you're probably going to rub the skin off the top of your foot right here, because the shoe is so tight that this area at the bottom of the laces presses down on the top of your foot and has the potential of rubbing the skin off the top of your foot. So, for me, I would say the shoe is basically unusable. And I'm kind of stuck with the shoe. I convinced Altra that my Olympuses were delaminating around the toe, and so they gave me the option to get a new shoe. I was under the impression that the Timp 2.0 was an awesome shoe, so I asked for it and they sent it to me. I've got it in my hands, but I can't wear it because it doesn't fit. And this is a 10.5. They all are. All of my shoes are 10.5s. It's kind of a mystery to me as to how exactly this happened. I mean, when Altra first became popular, really it was on the internet. This shoe company kind of blew up on the internet. The Lone Peak 3.5 was super popular in like 2018. When they upgraded the shoe to the 4, which is what I have in my hands, this shoe had much less of a stack height on it than the 3.5, and the shoe lost a lot of its functionality. This shoe actually feels more like walking barefoot than a barefoot shoe. You can really feel every single pebble underneath the shoe, and your feet kind of get tired from wearing this shoe because it doesn't give a lot of protection from the ground. So when the Lone Peak 3.5 became really popular, Altra kind of immediately ditched it and kind of wrecked the shoe and came out with the 4, which was kind of a disappointment. So I'm kind of suggesting that this may be the end of Altra or the death of Altra. That Altra is systematically getting rid of all of their awesome shoes that are great for hiking and replacing them with shoes that don't really resemble the Maximus stack height concept that they originally had when they first came out with these shoes and made these 4 shoes popular. The Superior, the Lone Peak, the Timp, and the Olympus are slowly becoming extinct. Right now we've only got the Superior and the Olympus left, and the Lone Peak and the Timp appear to be gone. Now, I don't usually do negative reviews, and interestingly, one of the other negative reviews that I did was last year on the Timp. I got a hold of a Timp IQ, and it was terrible. It would look like a silver moon boot, and it felt like walking on a piece of wood on a 2x4. It was like a rock hard shoe that had like a computer chip in it. And I gave it a negative review, and it's one of the only negative reviews I've ever done. And then, you know, a year later, I get a hold of the Timp 2, and I end up doing the same negative review on the Timp 2, which is kind of weird. I mean, some of the only other negative reviews I've ever done were on like running packs, like the Palante Joey, which only comes in a medium. It doesn't come in a large. So it looks like things are really moving over to Hoka. Hoka came out with the 10.9 for their 10-year anniversary, and it's got the same bumper as on the Olympus, but a huge one that sticks out a few inches. And it's pretty awesome. I mean, it looks really hilarious. It's just awesome. It can be used as a snowshoe, and supposedly it propels you forward the same as hiking poles. So you know you could wear it as an alternative to hiking poles even in the snow. And also the Rincon, they've come out with the rainbow-colored Kona Ironman Rincon from Hoka Oni Oni is an awesome shoe also. So, you know, it looks like things are really moving over to Hoka and away from Altra, and I just don't know what to say other than that.
Come on.